23rd, 2017.
This is Nerd Bourbon episode 3. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I'm Todd Sturgill.
What up, dog?
What's up, player?
So we're finally out of the E3 madness, and we're into the real. We're into Nerd Bourbon Prime.
Nerd Bourbon Prime, Nerd Bourbon Proper.
Yes. That's what I'll call it anyway. I just want to get some housekeeping out of the way to start us off. We have a YouTube channel now. Todd set us up with the YouTube, just so we could have some parity with our SoundCloud. We're going to post our episodes there. We're probably going to do some video content in the future, but we have links to everything posted on our social media channels. I can't give you a custom URL right now because we can't have one until we have 100 subscribers. So just grab the link off of our profiles for now, and it'll be easy to type that into your search bar soon. But we set it up so that we would have some kind of parity with our SoundCloud. We're going to upload our raw audio and stuff like that onto there. So it's just an easier ask for people to listen to us via a YouTube video when they take a break from their cat videos. So subscribe to that, turn on notifications, and you'll be updated the instant our episodes go live. We don't have a whole lot up there right now, but like I said, moving forward, all of our stuff is going to be on there, and it's just going to be an easier way for you to listen to us. My girlfriend's making some more pixel art. She's the one that's done all of the pixel art for our stuff. We recorded a channel trailer that we're going to cut together soon to have on the front page of it, so we're going to try to do it somewhat legitimately.
Before we move on from the YouTube thing, I want people to know.
Oh shit.
They're lucky I verified this shit.
Oh shit. Why?
Because if I didn't verify it, they would have had episode 1, part 2, part 3, part 4.
Oh god.
Because if you don't have it verified, you're gonna have to, you can only upload like 15 minutes at a time.
Oh fuck that.
Dude, that's why I'm like, dude, that's why when I was first like setting up the first episode, I'm like, oh wait. Oh shit, no. I went to YouTube instantly. And it's like, verify your account. I'm like, yes.
It's terrible. I didn't realize. Yeah, that's horse shit.
Oh, it's terrible. I was like, okay, that needs to happen now so I can upload.
So wait, why wouldn't anybody just instantly verify their account?
Because they're stupid? I don't
That's
know.
so redundant.
It's like at that point, if you verify your account, you can just sit there and upload because we had, as the first couple episodes were an hour.
Right.
Plus. Yeah.
I just don't understand why they wouldn't, if that functionality is there, why wouldn't they just have it unlocked? I guess it's probably so that they could probably minimize some bandwidth. Like if somebody, if people don't know that that's even a feature, they're like, oh shit, guess I can only upload 15 minutes at a time forever now.
Oh no, I realize that shit and put an end to it real quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we definitely couldn't have gotten away with that. We're fresh off of the whole E3 thing. What would you just... We have 2 fucking episodes on E3, so if you want to get our thoughts on E3, you can listen to those. But just real quick, how did you feel about E3 overall?
Skate 4. But,
Yes. It can be summed up in those 2 simple, beautiful words. Yeah. Get that engraved on your fucking tombstone.
Yes.
But it was, covering the show at the same time as relaunching the podcast was definitely a little bit of a challenge, because Todd and I had both put a lot of kind of effort and energy and time and money into relaunching it, and then on top of it, it's like, oh hey, it's E3 time, so you got even more work ahead of you. So it was kind of crazy, but we got it done, and I think we got 2 good episodes and a good way to spearhead this whole thing. So it's going to be a little bit weird moving into episode 3, because episode 1 and 2 were so different than the standard format of the show is going to be. So we're just going to it's going to be a topic-based show, but we're just going to kind of start talking about what we've been playing and move on from there and into our topics. So what have you been playing, man?
Honestly, when I haven't been working, I've honestly just been jumping on World of Warcraft with you.
I think we're going to do a shots episode just about WoW Legion.
Yeah, I'll keep that. But honestly, the only thing I've really been doing is jumping on doing those mission orders. Like
an animal?
Slowly but surely losing my sanity doing them.
Just real quick, just kind of describe what those are for the people who don't know.
Honestly, it's I feel like I'm playing a mobile game.
Right.
I jump on, I have these allies or whatever, or minions. I send them out to attack things. They bring me back rewards.
And it's all on a timer, so you have to every few hours or however long the mission is, you have to go and sort of re-up.
It's basically what I've been doing. I get home from work, I re-up. I wake up, I re-up.
I've been dabbling in it a little bit, not as much as you.
Oh, I'm losing my mind.
I when I think about it, I jump on there and do it, especially since there are some class hall missions that are, dependent on those.
I'm gonna tell you this right now because I've been doing it so much. I'm level 106.
Oh damn! Oh,
Oh,
getting
yeah.
like the XP
Yeah,
bonuses
just
and all
doing
that.
the XP, dude. Just getting this pure XP bonuses and all that shit.
Nice.
But like other than that, dude, I haven't like. I'd sit there on my PlayStation 4. I'm just like I look at all the games I have. I'm just like I don't want to touch any
Nothing
of these
jumping
right
out
now
at you.
because
Yeah.
it's just like, dude, my job's been killing me lately. So I was like, I can't even do it.
Yeah. You know what? I that perfectly describes the way I felt after beating Breath of the Wild, and my world was just empty now. Like after I beat Breath of the Wild, I tried to play so many other games, including the game that I'm currently playing, Horizon, or trying to play, and I just could not, like, I just looked at every game I had and nothing was grabbing me the way that Breath of the Wild did.
Yeah.
And it literally, like, I felt like the color was drained out of my world after I beat Breath of the Wild.
Oh, that's again why I said I'm really happy I beat Horizon before I touched Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, like I said, I've been trying to touch Horizon here and there a little bit. I'm probably like 10 hours into that game. I feel like I've made no fucking progress at all. Enjoying it, totally enjoying it, but I just feel like I've done nothing. Like I feel like I've done 10 hours of nothing, and I feel like I just wander around aimlessly trying to figure out what to do. And then yeah, we have you played much Arms? I know we got Arms in recently, and I've been playing it here and there.
Yeah, the only time I touched it was when I first got it. I jumped on there. I was like messing around with like the Grand Prix or whatever it was called.
Did you do a
or the
playthrough
tournament.
of the Grand Prix, or did you just mess
I
with it?
didn't even finish. I just messed with it. I was trying to like figure out a character I wanted to mess with.
Yeah.
Seems like I'm gonna be messing with Helix.
Oh yeah, you're
Helix
liking
is my
Helix?
boy. Oh, he's a nasty boy.
Oh no. Tell me about him. I haven't touched him yet.
It's just, dude. It's just like his animations, like his voice. It's so hilarious to me. It's just like,
Oh no, I didn't even realize he had like a speech pattern or a voice at all. Oh, no.
It's terrible.
It sounds
It's
terrible. I love it. I've been definitely fucking with Twintel. Her sort of character ability is a little bit useless for my playstyle. Like she can just hover in the air for a few seconds, which I guess could probably just like be used to trip up your opponent, but I haven't really like fallen in love with anybody yet. I love all the designs, and I love Twintel's design in particular, but I'm trying to find a character whose character ability will kind of perfectly go with my play style, and I haven't really latched on anybody yet. I've played through the Grand Prix 3 times now, with 3 different characters. It's really straightforward, just like any fighting game ever. It's like just, you do 10 matches, maybe there's like a mini game and, every few matches or so to shake it up. But it's a very typical like fighting game arcade mode, basically. And it's good. I like it. I mean, like I love the characters. It is a rock solid 1080p 60 frames per second. It is very content scarce. I can already tell.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
Grand Prix is basically the only single player content in the game. It's basically, hey, I hope you enjoy playing this game online. Because that's pretty much what you're going to be dealing with.
That's the main reason like me and you bought it because we're gonna like do the 2v2s
Yeah.
or whatever.
I don't know if you guys can hear this or not on my mic, but if my dog decided that she wanted to eat her food right now while I'm recording, so if you hear any light crunching in the background, that's my dog. Sorry, I don't know if it's gonna pick up on the mic or not.
It's picking up a little bit. I can hear it over Skype right now.
It'll be fine. It's a fucking free podcast. Deal with it. But that's pretty much all I've been playing. WoW Legion. I think we're planning on doing a episode of Shots specifically about WoW Legion because spoilers. Todd and I are both really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I have to say it's probably my favorite WoW expansion since Wrath, because I think I kind of like Burning Crusade is an excellent expansion. Wrath for me is like a perfect WoW expansion. I've been playing WoW since the early days, and Wrath to me was just a perfect expansion. I kind of fell off around Cataclysm when they neutered the talent system, and it's just gone downhill from there. And Legion is definitely like Legion feels the most like vanilla WoW to me that it has felt in a long time. And on top of that, the Demon Hunter class is just really, really fun.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just a lot of fun. Todd and I both made Demon Hunters from scratch, and we're just kind of playing those together, and we're just having a grand old time. Let's move into our topics, though. I guess I'll start first, since your topic is has a little more meat on its bones.
It's a little more vague as well, because it's gonna be a little more rambling.
When you told me your topic, I was definitely intrigued. But we'll do my topic first. My topic is video game music. I'm a huge fan of video game music, passionate about it, have several game soundtracks that I listen to daily. I just want to kind of go through some of our favorite game soundtracks, any specific tracks we want to shout out, favorite composers. What do you want to just, first of all, I know you're going to call out Soulsborne already, the Soulsborne games.
I will. I love the soundtracks. I have Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne soundtracks on my PlayStation 4. And I occasionally listen to them.
The one thing that I've always been curious about, and maybe you know the answer to this question, and I'm sure a quick Google search could answer it for me, but I'm lazy. Do the Soulsborne games have the same composer?
It's multiple people.
Okay. I was curious about that, because they definitely share a similar style, but I wasn't sure if they literally had the same composer across all of those games or not.
I mean, there's probably a couple people that have worked on multiple games, but there usually is just multiple composers.
Yeah. What are your favorite tracks in those games?
A lot of it is gonna, of course, be the final boss.
Yeah, those are always good.
Those are always the best.
Yeah, those are always good.
You got Gwen's
Solar Cinder tracks. Yeah,
Solar Cinder from Dark Souls 3. Ooh.
Yeah, just how it melds everything together.
Yeah, that phase 2, it melds into Dark Souls 1 Gwen's theme. That was delicious. And then arguably my favorite track is Gurman's theme, the first hunter.
Okay.
That is one of my favorites. And then you actually have it works together as the entire boss fight is Ludwig's theme.
Yeah, I thought you were going to call out Ludwig for sure.
Oh yeah,
because Ludwig's just an amazing. It's just an amazing encounter, but the music really drives it home.
Oh yeah, definitely. The phase 2 music, that shit just fucking just whoo. I was like, whoa, what's going on? No. I instantly died the first time I fought that boss because it blew me away.
You're just taking it back, just taking it all in.
Literally,
yeah. But it's just music in video games. It's a really important, overlooked element of game design, and people call this out all the time of try to play a horror game or watch a horror movie without the music on and see how less scary it is.
It'd probably be almost comedic.
Yeah, exactly. But so music is just very, very important, and some of my favorite video game memories are intimately tied with the music. And like I said, I'm very passionate about video game music. I just have a list here of shout out stuff. Grant Kirkhope, he did the soundtrack for Banjo-Kazooie. One of the most important games that makes me the person I am is Banjo-Kazooie, and that soundtrack's amazing. I listen to it probably at least once a week. I listen to something from Banjo. David Wise, Donkey Kong Country, fucking incredible music that just you could just take the music from Donkey Kong Country and just show it to somebody, independent of it being in a video game, and they would just think that's just a good piece of music.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even necessarily need to be a good piece of video game music. Jeremy Soule from Elder Scrolls, amazing. I think he also did I want to say he did some of the Assassin's Creed games as well. Akira Yamaoka did the Silent Hill theme. He did Shadows of the Damned. He's an amazing composer. Yasunori Mitsuda, Chrono Trigger, notably. Of course, we got to shout out Marty O'Donnell.
Of course.
Classic. Halo composer, Vanilla Destiny. I wanna give a shout out to the soundtrack of Vanilla Destiny.
Yeah.
Vanilla Destiny has a great soundtrack.
Yes, damn good soundtrack.
I feel like nobody talks about that. The music in base Destiny is amazing. They change composers.
I don't want to shit on later Destiny soundtrack.
No, it's still amazing.
It's still good.
Yeah.
But that Vanilla Destiny is.
Yeah, it's still really good. Like from the expansions onward after whatever happened with Marty happened. But just in Vanilla Destiny, just as a base, that's one of the few things. The gameplay of Vanilla Destiny was fantastic, and the music was fantastic.
Yeah,
that you can't take away from
one of the few things I used to say, like, 'cause back when we were first playing Destiny, it was just kind of like, eh. And I'm just sitting there, hey, at least the music's good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You can't talk about video game music without bringing up Koji Kondo, classic, Mario, Zelda. I mean, you don't get better than that. Nobuo Uematsu, Final Fantasy composer. I mean, just Final Fantasy, it's another one where it's like, man, you could just show this to somebody. It just sounds like these orchestral compositions that are just incredible to this day. And the best boss fight music comes from Final Fantasy games, hands down. I saved the best for last, though. My favorite video game music composer is Yoko Shimomura. She did games like Mario RPG and Street Fighter series and stuff like that, but Kingdom Hearts, man. The music of Kingdom Hearts, that just when you load up Kingdom Hearts and it plays Dearly Beloved in the main menu, just that, I know you're not a Kingdom Hearts guy, but that main theme, just man, it gets me emotional to even like hear the title music. It's so good. And her work on Kingdom Hearts is so extraordinary. She put such a stamp on those games. And if there were ever a series that was made important to me by virtue of its music, it's Kingdom Hearts. And it has such an incredible soundtrack, and I encourage you to check it out if you're not a Kingdom Hearts fan.
Shit, I think I might have to check out Kingdom Hearts soundtrack.
It's really, you should play the games in general, especially now that they're all under the same roof on PS4.
I've been meaning to buy that. Maybe next time I get paid, I'll pick it up.
I'll say this: Kingdom Hearts 1 is not going to hold up as well as like 2 onward. The story's like a little bit cheesy, and there's a lot of anime tropes and stuff like that in there. But
that's fine with me.
And a lot of people take issue with it, but it really, and the story gets so convoluted by the end of it. But you start talking about like, oh, there's the Heartless, but there's also the Nobodies and the Unversed and all this weird shit. It gets weirder and weirder as it goes, but I really do think that series is really special, and the music in particular is really important and special to me. I just wanted to give a quick highlight to video game music. Shout out to you, video game music. You're very, very important.
I want to give a quick shout out to my damn self. I really enjoyed the music in the most recent Nier game.
Oh, okay.
Don't know who did the music, but that shit's like relaxing as hell.
Okay. Yeah, you want to talk about relaxing music? Animal Crossing. Oh my god, from I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. He's an amazing composer too, and the music in Animal Crossing is so relaxing and mood setting. My girlfriend plays Stardew Valley, and the music in that game is amazing too. And I mean, just video game music in general, man. It's so important and it's so overlooked, and I just feel like people don't talk about video game music composers in the light that they should.
I feel that.
Think about the way that Breath of the Wild uses music, and Breath of the Wild's music is literally like integrated into its design. It's so subtle and amazing, and it's just like one amazing element of that amazing game. I wouldn't be surprised at all if I go every episode of this podcast mentioning Breath of the Wild at least once.
I swear. I was just thinking that. I'm like, third episode.
Third episode. Third time bringing up Breath of the Wild. And believe it or not, Koji Kondo had nothing to do with that soundtrack. But that's my topic. What's yours?
It's something that's been on my mind for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
Is I coined it as falling out of love with Dark Souls. Like, that's not the thing. I do still love Dark Souls and the whole Soulsborne series. It's just I can't play them anymore.
When you first told, because I knew that it was going to be a topic-based show, the general structure was going to be based around topics that we each brought, and when he told me that was what he was wanting to talk about, and he'd been wanting to talk about it for a long time, I was like, oh shit, what an interesting, like that's one of those things that somebody, it's almost like this is such a shitty example, but it's almost like you telling me you had cancer or something.
It really just boils down to, like, even when I was playing the final DLC for Dark Souls 3, a part of me was just like, right now. Because it's like, did I love that DLC? Yeah, but everything just feels like a chore. I don't have the patience for what you have to do in these games anymore. Especially with Dark Souls 3, like, new game, plus, whatever. Everything is an endurance fight.
Do you think that's the issue, though? Is the fact that, like, you also, at the same time, have this sort of compulsion to play it on the hardest difficulty.
Yes, and it is a thing. Like I kind of go against myself. Like, yeah, I could probably make a new character, but like I don't like doing that because I have my character. It's his journey in the game, and like I guess it's my fault that I sit there and I play into like max scaling. But it's just like, damn, dude, every single fight is an endurance fight in Dark Souls 3. Like, the Demon Princes, so much health. Gale, so much health. Like, and the thing is, like, here's the deal. When I say I'm not as patient anymore, is like, I don't have the patience to sit there and use my regular build to fight them. It's just like, I don't care anymore.
Was Dark Souls 3, was that kind of like when you realized that you were sort of like starting to fall out of love with it?
Yeah, because honestly, like, even just like playing Souls-like games at this point, I'm just like about it. Because like I bought the Surge. I gave it a chance. I got past the first boss. I was kind of like, it has a lot of cool concepts. I like the fact that you can kind of like grind the gear with slicing off the limbs. It's a really cool game. Really respect what it was doing. It's much better than Lords of the Fallen.
Oh yeah.
Which is the other game those guys made.
I forget that game even exists most of the time.
Yeah, and it's just I feel like it's a chore for me right now. Like, it's just like I just don't have the patience for it.
Like, you're just kind of playing them out of obligation.
Yeah, like it's like any Souls. Like, I'm like, all right, let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
Like even Neo, like I didn't even jump on to play the new DLC for Neo. I'm just like,
I didn't even know there was a new DLC for Neo.
Yeah.
You know, I sort of relate to that, although I feel this way about a lot of series, especially like a recent example for me was Mass Effect Andromeda.
Ugh.
Like, yeah, the groan heard around the world.
Right.
I feel like I picked up Mass Effect Andromeda because I love Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and like just playing it, I'm like, I just don't like I you know, you and I both work full-time jobs. You know, we work overnight, so my time that I spend playing with games, especially as I get older, becomes more and more precious and fleeting. So I can't justify spending however many hours it would require me to suffer through Mass Effect Andromeda, even though I love Mass Effect. And if I were, say, 16 years old, I would have just, even though I didn't like the game, I would have just suffered through it just by virtue of it being Mass Effect. Yeah. Just because I love Mass Effect. But, like, I just didn't, you know, I reached this certain point after spending, like, 15 hours or so with the game where I was just like, I don't like this. Like, this isn't good. And I just kind of put it back on the shelf, and I have not touched it since. I just don't have time. I don't have time for that shit anymore.
Yeah, I feel that, dude. Like, again, like I said, I don't want to say I don't love the games anymore. I still love them. I love the series. I will always respect that series. But I like shit. Even Bloodborne, my all-time favorite game of life. It's hard for me to play through that game. I still might, you know, do that game a solid and maybe do a playthrough once a year type shit because I love that game. I'll always want to play that game because here's the deal: the only fight that I can consider an endurance fight in that game is Orphan of Kos. Because the way that game's mechanics are is like you can be aggressive as shit.
Yeah, that game definitely encourages you to be aggressive.
Yeah. Because Dark Souls, that was one of my main issues with Dark Souls 3 is like you have these Bloodborne tier speed in these bosses.
But without Bloodborne mechanics.
It was like Dark Souls, you got Dark Souls playstyle. I'm like, what?
Dark Souls is just by its design, Dark Souls is much more plotting and strategic.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest concerns. I'm like, why are you shitting out like this dude flipping around like
Gale
crazy?
Is Gale. Definitely a Bloodborne boss. Like through and through.
I swear. I'm telling you, I would demolish him on Bloodborne.
Yeah, he is totally a Bloodborne boss.
It's like, yeah, people can be like, oh, just get good. But it's just like, dude, why? I don't want to spend, like, all this time fighting this boss. I mean, don't get me wrong, I disrespected the shit out of him when I did beat him. I cheesed the shit out of him. I pyromancied his ass to the grave. But, like, that's my deal. I did not want to sit there and, like, struggle against this guy doing, like, being patient with it. I'm like, no, I can't do it no more. I just can't. Just let me kill you, be done with it. The only time I did have some patience is because I did want to beat every boss in the game, so I went to fight Medivh.
No,
you didn't fight
Medivh.
Medivh.
Yeah, after I was like, no, fuck this. I really don't care that much.
I'll be dead ass serious with you. Midir is honestly not that hard once you learn him. It's just, dude, his sheer amount of health.
Yeah, I think,
again,
doesn't he have the most health out of any boss in the series?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is the issue with him. At the end of that, like, you basically have to do that shit almost flawlessly at, like, max scaling because he will virtually one-shot you.
Yeah. That's what always annoys me is the one-shots.
Oh, yeah, well, I remember we were playing through Bloodborne, and you were just getting one-shotted by Maria in my game.
That's like, that to me, I'm like, look, I understand a game being difficult or whatever, but you have to leave the player at least a little room for error.
Yeah.
Like, just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot. Just let me not get one-shotted and I'll be okay. But yeah, I can sort of relate to the Dark Souls sentiment because, like, I had a little bit of, especially, like, when Neo came out, like, I sort of felt an obligation. And look, Neo's great. I know you played through it and enjoyed it. What I've played, I've enjoyed of it. But it's again, I felt like I was kind of playing it out of obligation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this is another Souls-like thing, and I like Souls, so I need to play this, right? Growing up, and the older I get, the less tethered I am to feeling like I have to play everything.
Yeah.
And even though I still play a ton of games, way more than I should, I don't feel that pull anymore to suffer through things that I'm not 100% enjoying because my leisure hours need to be filled with things that I 100% enjoy.
Yeah, because I legit deleted the Surge off my hard drive. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
damn.
not touching
Yeah,
it.
you just made that distinction.
I'm like, I can't do it anymore. Like, but I still have Bloodborne on my system. I deleted Dark Souls 3, but Bloodborne is the exception.
Yeah.
Because it's like the difference in game mechanics, man. It makes it such a difference to me.
I for sure made a distinction like with Neo. I'm just just every now and then you look at the shelf and I'm just like, I'm never gonna play this. I'm for sure never gonna go back to this. I did the same thing with Persona 5, and I loved Persona 5. I played Persona 5 for like 10 hours and loved it. And it's just I'm looking at it and I've heard nothing but like, oh, this game takes like 100 hours. I'm just, dude, I'm never gonna have 100 hours to devote to this game.
Ooh, yeah, that's some real shit right there. That's just like Ni no Kuni.
I'm never gonna have this much time. It could be an amazing 100 hours. I spent more with that, more than that with Breath of the Wild. Another Breath of the Wild shout out. But
always and forever.
But I spent more time with that on Breath of the Wild, but like Breath of the Wild was like I could spend another 100 hours with Breath of the Wild and not even notice that I'm spending it. Like I made time for Breath of the Wild. That was also the only game that I played for a solid like 2 months. So
oh yeah, same. Like I did the same thing, dude. Like Breath of the Wild was like my life after I beat Horizon. Like I was just always playing it. Like
yeah, I was just. I would talk to you or whatever, and you would just hear the sounds of Breath of the Wild in the background, and you're like, Seth, stop, it's okay. you beat it, Seth. You did all the shrines. But I just, like, I definitely relate to that, and it's sort of like, it's kind of a depressing conversation to have in a way, as people who love playing games and who still play a lot of games.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a depressing realization of, like, you're not 16 anymore.
That's some real shit right there, because it's just like, I'll always love and respect the Soulsborne games, but I'm going to be honest, I can't go back and play them anymore, except Bloodborne. I'll always suffer through Bloodborne.
And it's funny because, and here's another thing you'll notice about me is I relate things to Nintendo way too much. But if Nintendo didn't have their sort of revitalization with their franchises and, introducing new IP like ARMS and Splatoon and stuff like that, and kind of reinventing the way they design their classic franchises like Zelda and now Mario coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would even still be as big a Nintendo fan as I am.
No, I definitely feel that, because I think I said this in episode 1 or episode 2, but I really respect what Nintendo's doing with, like, just, like, every series is basically evolving right now, and I love that.
Like, everything they have is now being reworked and reinvented, and it feels fresh and new. And if it weren't for that, I don't think I would be as big, like I said, as big. I think I would still be a Nintendo fan. I would still probably play a lot of Mario games, but I would hit that wall, right? That same wall that I hit with Assassin's Creed, where I'm like, okay, this is just the same shit, and I don't have time for the same shit. So it's nice that they're evolving in the way that they have been. So leading off of that, do you think that's what Dark Souls needs? Dark Souls needs to evolve.
Yeah, honestly, I think they need to do something like they did with Bloodborne, like have a Souls-like game that comes out,
Armored Souls,
and has shit. We can make an entire episode out of Armored Souls. We could do a shots.
You're right.
For Armored Souls, but yeah, I honestly think like the core mechanics, like I respect them, but I think we need just slight changes, like just come in, like, because again, Bloodborne had the whole rally system, like this the quick dash, like being just aggressive as hell, and it's like I go back to Dark Souls 3, and it's just like I feel like I'm playing the same game that I've played for like shit. How many years now?
If you had the reins, if you were like, hey, like we're revitalizing Dark Souls, we're gonna. And I know you're not a game designer, but if you had like any just small inklings of what you would do to inject a little bit of life into it, like, do you have any thoughts on what you might do?
Honestly, I think when we talked about Armored Souls, that
let me just go into what that is, because that's kind of an inside
go ahead.
thing. So like we were talking about one of the things that people love to point to is like, oh, I would love to see Miyazaki, the creative director of Dark Souls, I would love to see him tackle science fiction. And I had this whole thought of like, okay, well, and other people have thought similar things, but of like, you know, they have the Armored Core series. So wouldn't it be interesting if Sci-Fi Souls was sort of a quote-unquote Armored Souls, where it's like, you know, the player... And I kind of had a few design thoughts, like the player, the exosuit is sort of the... you know, the mech suit or whatever is sort of the player character in a way that you customize and generally play as. And the person inside of the suit is sort of ancillary. And every time you die, the person inside dies, and then a new pilot has to go through with nothing but like a pistol to kind of recover the old mech of the previous pilot. And that's how you like would get your health back in a typical Souls game or whatever, or get your souls back. It's sort of that mechanic evolved a little bit. And then you could do the basic stuff, like instead of souls, it's cores, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, maybe that's all that Souls needs, is like some design changes, just a little bit of a shake-up.
Yeah.
That's an interesting, depressing thought.
Yeah, it really is. That's with any game, though. It's just like when a game becomes like stagnant, you know.
It
it's
is,
like,
and you know, and we live in this world now where things are annualized constantly, and maybe Dark Souls just didn't take enough time. Even though if you think about it, didn't Dark Souls 1 come out in like 2009? It was either 2009 or like maybe 2010, optimistically. But if you think about it, I mean, they've had like 4 games at this point with DLC for all of them, and in about 8 years. That's kind of a lot if you think about it.
Yeah,
and
it really is, actually.
I don't know. Maybe that's just too much. Maybe the series just got stagnant too quick, and it was almost influential to a fault, because so many games speared off of it. Games like Neo and games like, you know, The Surge, Lords of the Fallen and stuff. So we live in this world of oversaturation, and when something is successful, it is stolen and beaten into the ground, and, you know, and it's this vicious cycle of like, oh, well, I like this thing, so I got to play this thing too. And then eventually you play so much of those things, you no longer like that thing.
Yep. And by the way, it came out in 2011.
Wow, Dark Souls 1 did?
Yes.
Oh, fuck. No way.
Mm-hmm.
Feels so much older than that. So in only 6 years.
Yep.
In only 6 years, we've got 4 games, all with DLC. Wow, that's even weirder than I thought it was.
See, Demon Souls might have been the game.
Oh, that's true too. Demon, yeah. I 5 games. I completely forgot about Demon Souls.
Demon Souls is actually the one that came out in 2009.
Right. Okay, that's what I was thinking of then. God, that's so weird. How weird. We were just talking about Dark Souls specifically, so Demon Souls was just pushed into the back of my mind.
Everybody likes to forget about Demon Souls. I never will. It's just.
I recently discovered my love for Demon Souls from watching
me a
Twitch
demon
stream.
soul.
Bring me a demon soul. Fucking the great blacksmith Ed.
Yeah, Demon Souls is just like, it's just a funny game, dude. It's just like, what the shit?
All the stupidity in that game.
Yeah.
All the Japanese stupidity. But anyway, I think that's probably a good place to call it. This is kind of what, and we're gonna evolve. Obviously, this is only episode 3, so you kind of, as you go on with the podcast, you sort of build a cadence and like a repertoire, and you sort of kind of find what it is as you go. Mm-hmm. But I kind of like where it is right now. I like the topic based, kind of short and sweet. I don't, one of my biggest pet peeves, which this is exactly what we did with the first 2 episodes, is these huge, like, hour and a half, 2 hour long podcasts. I know some people like them for, like, their commutes to work and stuff like that, but, like, for me, I would rather have a punchy, short and sweet podcast that's, like, 45 minutes to an hour tops. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I just prefer something that doesn't demand too much of my time.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And the one thing that I do like is that this was, we had the 2 topics, but it did go into the whole free-form conversation.
Yeah, totally.
And I absolutely love that.
Yeah, and that's, that's another thing about, that we wanted to do with Nerd Bourbon, is I don't ever want it to feel unnatural or forced. Because at the end of the day, Todd and I, we just talk a lot, because not only are we cousins, we're also kind of best friends. And and we talk all the time, and that's sort of what we wanted to capture. And this kind of turned into like a weirdly serious episode. This is unnatural for the men who talk about racist Marios and poop.
We're not married. We're related. We're cousins.
We're not married. This is another thing that gets brought up every episode. It's like Breath of the Wild and us not being married.
And Skate 4.
I feel like that needs to be a thing. I feel you need to work Skate 4 into at least once.
Oh, I will. Don't worry about it.
I don't care if it's at the very end, if that's like your closing trademark sign off.
Just Skate 4.
But we're gonna kind of tweak it and work on it, and it's something that we're just gonna kind of have to find as we go. But for now, this has been Nerd Bourbon. Sign off like an NPR kind of thing.
Yeah, I love it.
But we appreciate you guys listening. Check us out on YouTube. We're going to start uploading our stuff on there from now on as well. Keep a lookout for all that. And I guess we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
See ya.
Yes, that's the one. A red-hot demon soul. Now you can bless your weapon with another demon soul. Bring me a demon soul, and I shall use it to bless your weapon.